firm, unyielding, a man alone in the storm. Picture it now, dark clouds churning overhead, rain lashing his face, wind tearing at his coat. No crowd cheers him on, no hand steadies his shoulder, no voice breaks through the howling gale that surrounds him. Lightning cracks, thunder rolls, and the world watches from a distance, eyebrows raised, tongues wagging, judgment dripping from their lips. Where's his support? Where's his family? Why is he out there alone? What's he fighting for? They see a man battered by life's tempests. Maybe his job's gone, his savings drained, his dreams lying in pieces at his feet. Maybe friends turned their backs, left him standing solo in the downpour. And they whisper, he's down for the count, he's finished, poor soul's got no one. But let me stop you right there and ask you this. Since when did a man need the world's applause to stand tall? Since when did facing the tempest alone mean he's defeated? Since when did the absence of a cheering section mean he's lost the fight? The world's got its yardstick out, measuring a man by what he's got, his victories, his allies, his unbroken streak. They see him stumble in the storm and figure he's done, washed up, a failure because he's got no one beside him. They think trouble's the end of the story. Look at him, no wife to lean on, no buddies to pull him through and through, no safety net. But God's got a different measure. God don't look at a man through the world's blurry lens. He looks at the faith beating in his chest, the grit in his soul, the trust in his eyes. And today I'm talking straight to every man out there standing in life's gale, rain stinging your face, wind knocking you back, trouble piling high. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. You might feel like the storm's got you pinned, but I'm here to tell you, you're still in the ring and the fight ain't over. Stay with me, because by the end of this message, you'll see that standing alone in the storm might just be the greatest triumph of your life. I remember a night back in my hometown. Storm rolled in fierce, trees bending double, power lines snapping like twigs. A neighbor, old Tom, stood out there in his field, soaked to the bone, watching his barn roof peel away in the wind. Folks said he's crazy standing there alone. What's he gonna do? Next day, he was out there hammering nails, rebuilding, no help, just him and his stubborn will. The world saw a fool. I saw a fighter. That's you, brother. Maybe the roof's caving in on your life. Maybe the flood's rising, but you're still standing. The world don't get it, but God does. Trouble don't define you. Your stand does. And Jesus himself laid it out for us. He didn't promise clear skies, but he promised something better. Let's get into it. Now, let's get real. Trouble don't knock politely at your door with a calling card. It don't send a memo saying, heads up, I'm coming. No, sir, crashes in like a tidal wave, like a freight train off the tracks. One day, you're sailing smooth, job steady, families tight, plans looking bright, and the next, the waves hit. Bills stack up higher than you can climb. Doctor calls with the news that stops your heart. Your best friend walks out when you need him most. The world looks at a man caught in that mess, standing there with no one to throw him a rope, and they say, he's got no chance. He's alone. How's he gonna make it? They expect him to buckle under the weight, to run for cover, to beg someone else to pull him out of the muck. And when he doesn't, when he stands there, jaw set, eyes fixed ahead, fists clenched, they scratch their heads. Why is he still fighting? Why is he alone? What's wrong with him? But Jesus saw all this coming, friends. He knew the storms were part of the deal. In John 16:33, he laid it out straight, no fluff, no fairy tales. He said, in this world you will have trouble. That's a promise, not a maybe. He didn't say if you're lucky you'll dodge it, or if you're good enough it'll pass you by. No, trouble's guaranteed, signed, sealed, delivered. Storms hit every man walking this earth. Some lose their way in a bottle, drowning sorrow in whiskey till it owns them. Some walk away from home split wide open, divorce papers still wet with ink. Some face betrayal that cuts deeper than a knife, partners turning cold, buddies selling you out. Others carry silent burdens no one sees, nights awake, wrestling fears, battling doubts in the dark. I've seen it, men hunched over in diners, staring at empty coffee cups, wondering how it all fell apart. The world shrugs and says, you're on your own, pal, good luck. But here's where the tide turns. Jesus didn't leave us sinking. He didn't drop the mic after trouble. He said, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Hallelujah. That's the game changer. The world's throwing punches, hard, fast, relentless, but Jesus already won the fight. Trouble's real, no question. It'll knock the wind out of you, leave you reeling. But Christ's victory, that's realer still. The world sees a man alone and figures he's down and out, but Jesus sees a warrior standing on a battlefield already conquered. That's the clash, brother. Trouble screaming in your face, but peace is whispering in your soul. The world says you're finished. Christ says you're mine. Which voice you gonna hear? I've walked through cities, seen men broken by life. Chicago 72, a guy named Joe laid off, wife gone, kids with her. He told me, preacher, I'm standing in a hurricane and I got no umbrella. I said, Joe, you don't need an umbrella. You need Jesus. He laughed, bitter at first, but then he listened. Trouble don't care who you are, Joe. It'll hit the rich man in his penthouse, the poor man in his trailer. But peace, that's a gift the world can't steal, and Christ got it waiting for you. Now here's the rock you plant your feet on, brother. Your peace ain't tied to calm seas, a fat wallet, or a full crew beside you. It's in Jesus alone. He said it clear in John 16:33. In me you may have peace. Not in your circumstances, not in your connections, not in a life where the sun's always shining, but in Him. The world thinks a man standing solo in the storm is a man beaten down, ready to wave the white flag. They figure if you're alone, you're weak, exposed, done for. But Jesus flips that script upside down. He says a man in Him is a man unbroken, unshaken, unbeatable. You might be out there, wind tearing at you, rain soaking you through, but you're not just fighting to survive. You're standing in a victory that's already won. Listen close. Jesus didn't say I might overcome or I'll try to beat the world. No, He said I have overcome the world. Past tense, finished, signed in blood on that cross. Every storm you face, every sorrow that stabs, every sin that claws at you, He's already crushed it. Death couldn't hold Him. Hell couldn't stop Him. And trouble don't stand a chance against Him. And He's handing you that peace right now if you'll take it. This ain't about dodging the waves. It's about sailing through them with a heart that knows the war's over. You're not alone because you're weak. You're alone because Christ is enough. I've stood in my own storms, doubts howling, fears raging, and I felt that peace settling, warm as a fire, strong as steel. It's real, brother, and it's yours. I think of a night in 65, rain pounding my roof, my heart heavy with questions. I just preached to thousands, but I felt alone, small and sure. Opened my Bible to John 16:33, read it slow, take heart. And I did, knelt right there, prayed, Lord, you've won, I'm yours. Peace flooded in, drowned out the noise. That's what He's offering you, not a promise the storm will stop, but a peace that'll carry you through. You don't need the world's crutches, you've got the overcomer. Let's go deeper now, because this is where it hits home. That man standing in the storm, he's not just hanging on by a thread, he's thriving in the thick of it. The world sees him alone and calls it defeat. Poor guy, no one's got his back, no one's there to catch him if he falls. They figure solitude's a death sentence, a sign he's lost the plot. But solitude ain't the same as abandonment, friends. It's a proving ground, a forge where God shapes a man into something stronger. It's where he finds out what he's made of, where he hears God's whisper cutting through the roar of the wind. Think of David alone in that valley, Goliath towering over him, no army at his flank, just a sling and a stone in his hand. Did he crumble? No, he slung that rock and dropped a giant. Think of Elijah solo on Mount Carmel, facing 450 prophets of Baal, no backup, just him and his God. Fire fell from heaven that day, victory in solitude. Think of Jesus Himself alone in Gethsemane, disciples sleeping, sweat dripping like blood, the weight of the world on His shoulders. No one to hold Him up, no one to share the load, yet He stood, prayed, faced the cross, and overcame. These men faced trouble head on, no human hand to grip, no voice to cheer, and they didn't just endure, they triumphed. Why? Because God was their strength, their peace, their victory. Solitude didn't break them, it built them. And that's you, brother, standing in your storm, world counting you out, but God counting you in. Some men stand alone because life dealt a brutal hand. Maybe a wife walked out, left him with an empty house and a broken heart. Maybe a job vanished overnight, pink slip on the table, years of sweat down the drain. Maybe sickness stole his strength, left him limping where he used to run. I've seen it, men in bread lines, eyes hollow, telling me I used to have it all. Others choose solitude, walking away from toxic ties, saying no to a life that drags them down. Some chase a calling no one gets, quitting the easy road for a path God carved out. I met a guy in 69 Detroit, left the gang, lost every friend he had, stood alone in an alley, bullets whizzing past, praying, Lord, if you're real, save me. He walked out alive, alone but free, and the world pities these men. He's got no one, what a shame, but pities the wrong lens here. That man's not staggering through the storm, he's striding. He's learned to pray when no one's listening, knees hitting the floor in the dark. He's learned to fight when no one's watching, swinging at shadows till they scatter. He's learned to trust when no one's cheering, ears tuned to a voice the world can hear. Trouble's his forge, solitude's his fire, and Christ's peace is the steel running through his veins. The world don't see it. They see a lone figure, soaked and swaying. But heaven sees a warrior, bloody but unbowed, standing on a victory bigger than any storm. I've walked factory floors, talked to men with grease on their hands and despair in their eyes, laid off, families hungry. One said, preacher, I'm alone, but I'm praying. Months later, he's back. New job, new fire, said, God got me through. Solitude didn't kill him. It carved him. It carved him. That's what the storm does. It strips away the fluff, leaves you raw, but builds you strong if you let it. You're not alone because you're weak. You're alone because God's making you a conqueror. So how do you live this out, brother? How do you stand in the storm and claim that peace? I'm giving you steps straight from God's playbook, and I want you to walk them today. First, grab hold of Jesus' words. Take heart when the wind's howling, when the rain's blinding you, when trouble's piling up like bricks on your chest. Say it out loud. He's overcome. I've done it. Nights when doubt roared louder than thunder, I'd stand on my porch, Bible open to John 16:33, shouting it till my soul caught fire. Say it in the morning, whisper it at night. Jesus won, I'm his. It's not just words, it's power. Second, face the trouble. Don't run, don't hide. David didn't duck Goliath. He ran at him, stone spinning. Trouble's coming, face it square. Lost your job? Pray hard, hit the pavement, knock on doors. Trade to give tough as nails, but do it and rise above. Sick, trust God, fight the fight, lean on his strength. I've seen men do it. 58, a farmer in Kansas, crops gone to drought, stood his field, prayed, Lord, you're enough. Next year, he's harvesting again, grinning ear to ear. Face it, Christ's victory backs you up. Third, lean on Christ alone. Let the world's noise fade out. You don't need a posse, a paycheck, a pat on the back, just him. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. I've clung to that times when I felt small, preaching to thousands, but wrestling inside. God alone, prayed, Lord, be my rock. And he was. Reached the crutches, booze, bitterness, despair. I've seen men kick him 75 New York. A guy threw his flask in the trash, said, Jesus is my shot now. Stand tall because he's holding you. Live it daily. Start with prayer. Lord, steady me. Open his word, John 16, Psalm 46, Romans 8, 37. We are more than conquerors. Let it sink deep. I'd sit by the window, dawn breaking, reading till it's stuck. When temptation hits, fear, rage, giving up, say no. Christ won. Tell someone, your pastor, your brother, I'm standing in him. I've seen men shake hands after a sermon, eyes bright, saying, I'm done running. That's you. Step into the storm, not just surviving, but victorious. Listen to me now, man of God. You're not beaten, you're the son. The world might see a lone figure in the storm, rain-soaked, wind-whipped, and think he's done, he's got nothing left. But Jesus says, take heart. You're not abandoned. You're armed with a victory that shakes the gates of it. John 16:33 ain't just a verse, it's your battle cry, your banner, your lifeline. Trouble's coming. Sure as the sun rises, it'll claw at you, roar at you, try to drag you under. But peace is yours right now, deep and unshakable, because Christ already won. You're not standing alone because you're weak. You're standing alone because his strength is all you need. I've seen it, stadiums packed, men streaming forward, tears cutting trails down weathered faces, fists raised high, claiming this truth. A guy in Chicago, 72, lost everything, wife, job, home, came to me, voice breaking preacher, I've got Jesus, I've got enough. He stood taller that night than any skyscraper in that city. I've seen it in 80 Dallas event, let go and spirit battered, stood up in a crowd, shouted, he overcame, so can I. You can too. The storm don't own you, Christ does. Every gust that hits you, every wave that crashes, it's proof you're still in the fight, still as warrior. Walk full, brother. Head high, heart steady. The world asks, why is he still fighting? You answer, because my Savior's won. Step forward through the rain. Isaiah 41:10 says, fear not, for I am with you. He's there, closer than your shadow. I felt it, preaching in storms, literal and not. Voice hoarse, soul lifted, knowing he's near. When the wind dies down, when the clouds part, you'll still be standing. Not because you're tough, not because you're lucky, because he's triumphant. Romans 8:31, if God is for us, who can be against us? No storm, no trouble, no devil in hell. Take heart, man of faith. The overcomer walks with you. Amen.